Hello, everybody. It's me, Butterfly Spirit 314. So it is a super duper rainy day, and it's been like pouring outside. And on my way home, there was some flash flooding going on and everything. I took my time getting home from work though today. So I kind of stopped off at a few stores and stuff like that, even though it was raining, because I just felt the need to. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the fact that I have some pretty cool news. So the first thing is I finished the Psychology of Money. So I have read the Psychology of Money cover to cover. So I am now finished with this book, which is awesome. And it's another book finished. It's literally the first book about money that I have read from cover to cover, and it has changed my mentality about money. And I am going to be going back through this book and just kind of thinking a little bit more deeply about some of the things that I've learned. Okay. And this book is one of the reasons I kind of jump started towards saving, which I'm still working on, by the way. So that's a good thing. And, just learning about things associating with money. It's just really interesting, with my ideas about like learning about wealth and greed and happiness and risk and the economy. It's just like a lot that I learned. And I learned about, of course, like how you get money versus how you keep money, because there's a difference between those two things, and people who keep money, they may have that mindset of realizing that money can be here today and gone tomorrow, which is why, a person may, they may, of course, hoard money so that they can keep it. And that could be pretty hard to do, especially with things these days with the stuff that's going on with the economy and all that. So um, anyway, I feel like I have a new perspective on money that I did not have. But you know what? This book has only driven me to want to know more about wealth and more about money and stuff. In fact, I'm going to be getting this author's book, The Same as Ever. So I believe it's called The Same as Ever. Let me look. Hold on. Let me see what the other book is called. Hang on a second. Um, Hang on. Same. Yeah. So this author has a book called The Same as Ever. So I'm going to be getting his second book. And that book is about things that don't change. And it has more of a journey to it about things that don't change. So I'm interested in that. I enjoyed reading, The Psychology of Money so much that I want to read another one of his books. And the two books that I'm reading about money, that I had a that I'm now reading about money. Many of you may have saw this book. So I'm currently reading this book. It's called Money, a Memoir by Liz Pearley. So I'm reading this book, and it talks about women, emotions, and cash. So this is a book that goes a lot deeper into money. And currently, I'm at a part in the book right now, in Money, a Memoir, where I'm at a section where it talks about how we get our money habits, like how we get them from our family. And it went a bit, I'm at a deep part too, because I'm at a part in the book where they're talking about, well, she's talking about how in our families we can have people who are the spenders versus the hoarders. So one of our parents may be a spender, the other may be a hoarder. And depending on which one it is, that can kind of play a role with us. Also, in the section of the book that I'm in right now, it got kind of deep because the author makes an association about how for women, if a girl grows up and her father is present and provides love and support to her, then her relationship to money is going to be stronger and more stable. Versus that of if the girl grows up and her father is in and out, or he's distant or gone altogether, this girl may have a hard time with managing money, and that shows up later in the girl's life. For me, I personally had times in my life where my dad wasn't around, and he was distant, and then he came back into my life in and out, and then he was back. So for me, I kind of have a little bit of a, I feel like I have a realistic like thoughts about money, but there are pain points with money. And one thing I've been doing is I found myself thinking about like how I think about money in relation to my parents, like versus how my mom spent money versus how my dad spent money. And I'm kind of thinking deeper into that. So this goes deeper than a psychology of money. Psychology of money started this whole thing. And now I'm getting deep down into the things, Um, I'm getting especially to the part where they talk about like as women when we grow up, we look at what other women in our lives are doing in terms of money, and we look at their experience and we may model some of those things. Hang on one second. Oh my gosh. I gotta grab something. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So, so this book right here, oh, this one. This is the one I'm talking about right now. Well, I'm sorry, I should hold it up. So this one is where it's getting deeper with money for me, because the psychology of money kind of started it, but this one it's something that's causing me to think a lot, especially because when I was growing up, I had a uncle that had money, and I talked about this in the video when I was talking about the psychology of money when I first started reading it. And I had an uncle that was wealthy, and he has money, and a lot of people in my family respect that uncle because he has money. And so when I was growing up, I noticed the differences between the have and the have not. How, like, for his kids, they had, you know, he had the big house, the new cars. They had, his kids had new clothes, in their house. Like, they never wanted for money. That was never a thing. And when I looked at like the circumstance with like my family, like with my mom and stuff, like I looked at the fact of like what we didn't have and how my mom would be like, oh, well, we can't get that. But I'm like, well, yeah, but my uncle, which is her brother, like he was able to get all this stuff, you know? And so, like, in a way, when I think about it with money, I'm like, well, you know, asking those questions about, because like that mentality of me seeing my uncle have those things really gave me the mentality of thinking, okay, it's all about the money. The more money you got, the more respect you get, the more money you got, people need to listen to you because you got money. And people do listen to people with money, right? And that did end up showing up in my adulthood a lot, in decision making. And I think that when we see people in our lives, when we see people that we see them have a lot, we think that we are chasing money because we think that's what we need. But is that really what we need, you know? So when I think about it, for me, I have I have come to the point of, um I did let that shape me, based off of seeing my uncle have what he had, you know. And the fact that my uncle could buy stuff and not worry about, like, he didn't seem like he was worried about anything, because they